You might already be closer to the top 10% of American wealth than you ever imagined. Yet every month, you open your bank account and quietly think, I'm still falling behind. That isn't necessarily because you're poor. It's because you've been measuring your financial life with a ruler designed to make enough feel permanently out of reach. In this video, I'll show you 3 signs that your net worth may already be far stronger than you realize. But we'll go one step further, because net worth alone isn't the final score of wealth. The third realization completely changes what being wealthy actually means. If you're interested in understanding how money really works, not just how it looks, consider subscribing. But before we talk about the top 10%, we need to understand why almost nobody believes they're already moving toward it. Meet David. He's 43 years old, works as a mechanical engineer, drives the same SUV he's owned for years, and rarely thinks of himself as successful. Every 2 weeks, his paycheck arrives. The mortgage gets paid. His family's groceries are covered. His kids' activities come next. A contribution quietly flows into his 401k, almost without him noticing. By the end of the month, there isn't much cash left, and the same thought returns. I still don't have enough. If you asked his neighbors whether David was wealthy, most would probably laugh. David would laugh too. Because like millions of people, he judges his financial life by what he can immediately see. His income, his checking account, the vacations he can't afford, the newer cars parked in someone else's driveway. Research consistently shows that people don't compare themselves to national averages. They compare themselves to coworkers, friends, social media feeds, and the lifestyle surrounding them every day. The balance sheet stays hidden. The lifestyle stays visible. So even while their wealth quietly grows in the background, many people continue believing they're standing still. Which raises an important question. If David isn't actually poor, why does he feel that way almost every day? The answer begins with the first illusion almost everyone believes. There are 3 financial illusions that quietly shape the way most people judge their entire financial lives. The first is the income illusion. We've been taught that a higher salary automatically means greater wealth. It sounds reasonable, but it often isn't true. A larger paycheck usually arrives with larger taxes, bigger monthly payments, lifestyle inflation, and new expectations. The raise feels exciting for a few months. Then, the nicer apartment becomes normal. The newer car becomes necessary. The expensive vacations become the standard. Your income rises, but your financial freedom barely moves. Many high earners are simply high spenders with larger obligations. The second is the consumption illusion. We tend to assume that visible spending is evidence of invisible wealth. A luxury SUV, a Rolex, luxury vacations. They all look like proof of financial success. But appearances reveal spending, not ownership. They tell us almost nothing about savings, investments, debt, or financial security. Some of the wealthiest people rarely look wealthy at all. They drive ordinary cars, live below their means, and quietly accumulate assets year after year. Their balance sheet grows while their lifestyle stays surprisingly ordinary. The third is the comparison illusion. This one is perhaps the most dangerous. Your benchmark is constantly changing without you realizing it. A promotion introduces you to colleagues earning more than you. A move to a better neighborhood surrounds you with larger homes. Your social media feed fills with people posting their best moments instead of their real financial lives. Without noticing, your definition of normal becomes more expensive every year. Economists sometimes describe this as a shifting reference class. The people around you become your measuring stick. So even when your own finances improve, the standard you compare yourself against rises even faster. you don't feel richer because the finish line keeps moving.
That's why so many responsible people remain convinced they're falling behind despite years of steady progress. And that brings us to the first real sign that your financial position may be stronger than you think. You probably own more wealth than your mind is willing to acknowledge. Not because you're hiding money, not because you've made extraordinary investments, but because your brain naturally gives more attention to the money that flows through your checking account than to the assets quietly growing in the background, the retirement account you rarely open, the equity building inside your home, the investments compounding one ordinary month after another. They're all working for you, even when they don't feel real. So why does your brain ignore hundreds of thousands of dollars that already belong to you? Business class flights, a beautiful house shared across social media. They all look like proof of financial success. But appearances reveal spending, not ownership. They tell us almost nothing about savings, investments, debt, or financial security. Some of the wealthiest people rarely look wealthy at all. They drive ordinary cars, live below their means, and quietly accumulate assets year after year. Their balance sheet grows while their lifestyle stays surprisingly ordinary. The third is the comparison illusion. This one is perhaps the most dangerous. Your benchmark is constantly changing without you realizing it. A promotion introduces you to colleagues earning more than you. A move to a better neighborhood surrounds you with larger homes. Your social media feed fills with people posting their best moments instead of their real financial lives. Without noticing, your definition of normal becomes more expensive every year. Economists sometimes describe this as a shifting reference class. The people around you become your measuring stick. So even when your own finances improve, the standard you compare yourself against rises even faster. You don't feel richer because the finish line keeps moving. That's why so many responsible people remain convinced they're falling behind, despite years of steady progress. And that brings us to the first real sign that your financial position may be stronger than you think. You probably own more wealth than your mind is willing to acknowledge. Not because you're hiding money, not because you've made extraordinary investments, but because your brain naturally gives more attention to the money that flows through your checking account than to the assets quietly growing in the background. The retirement account you rarely open, the equity building inside your home, the investments compounding one ordinary month after another. They're all working for you, even when they don't feel real. So why does your brain ignore hundreds of thousands of dollars that already belong to you? Here's something most people never notice. Wealth is remarkably quiet. Spending is incredibly loud. A new car announces itself the moment it leaves the dealership. A luxury vacation fills an entire week of social media posts. A renovated kitchen becomes the centerpiece of every family gathering. Visible purchases constantly remind both you and everyone around you that money was spent. But wealth behaves differently. No one sees the extra shares quietly added to your ETF every month. No one notices another mortgage payment, increasing your ownership of your home. No one congratulates you because your retirement account gained value while you were asleep. And almost nobody celebrates the slow, almost invisible power of compound growth. The strange part is that your brain was never designed to value these two experiences equally. Neuroscientists have found that our brains respond much more strongly to immediate, visible rewards than to gradual, hidden progress. Buying something new delivers instant feedback. Watching an investment quietly appreciate over the next 10 years does not. One gives you a burst of excitement today. The other quietly changes your future without demanding your attention. That difference matters more than most people realize.
It explains why someone can become significantly wealthier over time while continuing to feel financially stuck. Your financial life improves. Your emotional experience barely changes. Which brings us to the second sign. Your wealth has probably been growing for years without making you feel richer. Not because the growth isn't real, but because the most valuable parts of your balance sheet are designed to grow silently, far away from the attention your brain naturally gives to everyday spending. The louder your consumption becomes, the easier it is to overlook the quieter engine that has been building your future all along. But even if you finally see your real wealth, there's still one problem nobody talks about. The biggest mistake people make is believing that net worth is the final score. It isn't. It's only the first score. Money is more complicated than a single number on a balance sheet. That's why I think every financial life should be measured with 3 different scores. The first is your wealth score. This is the one everyone talks about. It's the total value of what you own after subtracting what you owe. Your home equity, your retirement accounts, your investments, your savings. It's important, but it doesn't tell the whole story. The second is your stress score. Imagine you lose your job tomorrow. How many months could you keep paying your bills without panic? Would one missed paycheck create a crisis? Or would your emergency fund and your assets buy you time to make thoughtful decisions? 2 people can have the same net worth and experience completely different levels of financial stress. The third is your freedom score. This may be the most valuable score of all. Can you say no to a toxic boss? Can you take 6 months off to care for your family? Can you change careers without fearing immediate financial collapse? Can your investments and savings give you choices instead of obligations? That's what money is ultimately supposed to buy. Not luxury, not status. Choices. Consider 2 different people. The first has a net worth of $2 million. On paper, everyone would call this person wealthy. But the business carries significant debt. The lifestyle is expensive. Monthly obligations never stop. Every vacation is interrupted by phone calls. Walking away from work isn't an option. Now consider someone else with a net worth of $900,000. They live comfortably below their means. Their essential expenses are modest. A growing portfolio and reliable passive income cover a meaningful portion of their monthly needs. They sleep well. They aren't trying to impress anyone. If an opportunity appears, they can say yes. If a situation becomes unhealthy, they can walk away. So who is actually richer? The person with the larger balance sheet, or the person with greater control over their own life? This is the third sign. You may already be moving toward the top 10% by net worth. But the more meaningful question is whether you're also moving toward financial freedom. Because reaching the top 10% is a milestone. Financial independence is a transformation, and freedom is the destination. A larger balance sheet should never be the finish line by itself. It should become the foundation that allows you to live with less fear, fewer obligations, and more control over your time. So what should you actually measure from now on? This doesn't require a dramatic life change. It doesn't require finding the next hot investment or doubling your income overnight. It starts with measuring the right things. First, calculate your actual net worth. Not the number you guess in your head. Write down every meaningful asset you own. Subtract every liability, and look at the complete picture instead of only your checking account. Second, begin tracking what I call your freedom ratio.
Take your monthly passive income and divide it by your essential monthly expenses. That single number tells you how much of your life is already being funded without trading more hours for more money. Third, ask yourself a question most people never ask. If you stopped working today, how long could you maintain your current lifestyle before running out of resources? Think of it as your years of financial independence. As that number grows, so does your freedom. Those are the numbers worth improving. Not your follower count, not your neighbor's opinion, and certainly not the carefully curated lives you scroll past every day. This framework is meant for education and reflection, not as personalized financial or investment advice. Its purpose is simply to help you see your financial life through a more useful lens. And once you start measuring the right things, your entire relationship with money begins to change. You may still drive the same car you've owned for years. You may still live in an ordinary house on an ordinary street. And almost nobody will look at you and say, that person is wealthy. But if your assets continue to grow, your financial stress continues to shrink, and your freedom continues to expand, you're moving in the right direction. Not because other people can see it, but because your life is slowly becoming your own. The wealthiest people aren't always the ones with the biggest balance sheets. They're the ones who no longer need to prove they're wealthy. If this video changed the way you measure wealth, subscribe for more money levels. And tell me in the comments, which score do you think matters most? Wealth, stress, or freedom?